Well, fresh off his trip to the Sundance Film Festival, our very own Herb Stratford joins us this morning to talk about the trip. First of all, you saw a lot of movies in 1 week.
I did. I saw 35 movies in 6 days.
Wow,
so
incredible.
I'm working it for you.
Fantastic, fantastic. So you were able to stay awake for all of them. Some
was.
Great movies out there. We're talking about documentaries here in this segment. In our next hour, we're going to talk about some feature films that a lot of people are going to be able to see.
Absolutely. And there, as usual, there were some fabulous documentaries this year. We're going to start with Sound City. This is a film by Dave Grohl. A lot of folks know him as the Foo Fighters man, but of course before that he was in Nirvana and he was the drummer. This is a wonderful documentary that he did, his first directorial debut, kind of chronicling the history of Sound City, which is a recording studio in Los Angeles. Things like Fleetwood Mac, Rick Springfield, huge albums of the 80s, 90s, early 2000s were recorded there, and he kind of documents the history of this as the place where fabulous music was made, and then he actually buys the soundboard and brings it home with him when it closes. So a real fun documentary, great music, a lot of great people from the rock industry. Go check that out. It opens to the Loft tomorrow.
Wow, so great news for people. If you enjoy the Foo Fighters, if you enjoy Dave Grohl, this is perfect, and you can see it here locally already.
And a lot of times it takes months for these to hit, but the Loft will have it starting tomorrow. And you know, Paul McCartney's in this movie. It's just a really great film.
Fantastic. And moving on to Blackfish, another one.
Yeah, and we mentioned this, I think, on the phone when I called in. This is a staggering documentary about SeaWorld and the way they're held in captivity, how they're captured, how they're trained, how they're treated, and then how surprised we are when they kill trainers. So this is a really interesting documentary. It's about a dozen different former trainers talking to the filmmakers about what they saw when they worked there. So you'll never look at SeaWorld the same way, but I think it's an important film to see.
Perfect. And 20 Feet from Stardom.
This is one of the feel-good movies of the festival. This is a film about the backup singers, and these are the folks who basically you never know their names, but you certainly remember their voices and remember the impact they've had on songs. Talking to everybody from Sting to Bruce Springsteen, all kinds of wonderful people, and it's amazing kind of feel-good story about these women and how they're not looking for the spotlight. They just want to make great music.
Perfect. Well, Herb Stratford, off of his trip from the Sundance Film Festival, we'll be talking about features coming up in our next hour. We'll be right back here on Daybreak. Well, Herb Stratford joining us again this morning. Of course, we talked documentaries from the Sundance Film Festival in our last hour. Now we're talking about some feature films that are probably going to be pretty popular out there.
Absolutely. You know, of course, Beasts of the Southern Wild came out of Sundance last year, and now it's a Best Picture nominee. This year, there's a couple great things that came out. Ain't Them Body Saints is this first film you see. We've got Rooney Mara, and we've got Ben Affleck's brother, Casey Affleck, and this is set in the 60s in Texas. It's kind of a love triangle. He's a criminal. She's his girlfriend. Ben Foster plays a cop. Really good film, lots of buzz. Probably the #2 film in terms of critic reviews out of Sundance this year. People looking to see it. IFC bought the film, so we'll expect to see that later this year.
And Ben Foster always plays a good bad guy.
Yeah, he's a very compelling actor.
Very cool, definitely. Very cool. Well, the other one, The East.
The East is Britt Marling, who's been in a bunch of films, Another Earth, Sound of My Voice. She was also in Arbitrage with Richard Gere. This is the film that she's doing where she's infiltrating kind of an eco-terrorism group, domestic terrorism, and kind of falls for the charismatic leader of this group and has to figure out which side she's on. So a lot of buzz on this film. This film also got bought, so we'll be seeing that pretty soon.
Fantastic. And then Blue Caprice.
Blue Caprice, a stunning film. This is by a French director, and it's actually about the DC snipers, which you may remember a couple years back when they were in the car and they were shooting people randomly. This is an amazing story. It doesn't focus on the horror of the shootings, but it's more about the relationship between the man and then the boy who he kind of recruits and becomes his mentor. It's just a fascinating story, and that will definitely get people talking.
Fantastic. And then there was a short film that, of course, a lot of people are buzzing about from Sundance, and it has a local tie.
Yeah, we got to talk about this. This won the Audience Award. It's called Catnip. Egress to Oblivion, and it's by a local filmmaker, Jason Willis, who he's just a wonderful filmmaker. And this is short; it's about 7 minutes long, and it's kind of a fake docudrama, kind of like documentary about the evils of catnip, like it was marijuana. And it's just really great. It's on YouTube. If you do a search for Catnip, Egress to Oblivion, it'll come up. Over 100,000 more hits than anything else. So it's a lot of fun. Tucson filmmaker, check it out.
Very cool stuff. All right, Herb Stratford, 35 movies in 6 days at the Sundance Film Festival. Incredible stuff. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back here on Fox 11 Daybreak.